실현하여 위대한 자본에게 기쁨을 누리는 선군시대 예술인재로 더욱 튼튼히 준비해 나가겠습니다.
It's a message we've heard many times throughout the week. A message they're trained to convey to their countrymen. The belief that they exist in a perfect world. A place that really is the stuff of dreams.
And that's all the time we have for this edition of 101 East. You can always follow the program on our website, podcast and Facebook. From all the team, thanks for watching.
Taken stolen goods, and he's now dumping them onto the world without any sort of consideration for consequences.
From people making the news.
If the North will be saved a lot of trouble, I think it is important that they should come together.
To those it affects.
We do accept that there was very bad mistakes made in our banking area.
Behind the headlines.
Most South Koreans are not interested in reunification.
Is the inside story. At this time on Al Jazeera.
As geeks take on dictators, bloggers turn dissidents, and social networks root for social justice, governments are going cyber, spying on their citizens, erecting firewalls like iron curtains, and closing down websites. We ask, is cyber-generated change virtual or real? Empire at this time on Al Jazeera.
China has a growing elderly population, and as a consequence of its one-child system, there are fewer younger people to take care of them. It's a responsibility that often falls to the state. Private retirement homes offer an alternative, but independence comes at a price, financially and emotionally. Faces of China, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Interest rate cut in the United States gave Shanghai...
From the world to your phone. Al Jazeera Mobile.
Libya's deadly unrest. Witnesses tell Al Jazeera dozens of people have been killed as anti-Gaddafi protesters battle the security forces. Hello, you're watching Al Jazeera live from Doha. I'm Taimur Nabili. Also on the programme. Attacked in Bahrain. Protesters say government forces used live rounds on them. Hundreds of thousands of people in Egypt celebrate their revolution as the military issues another warning against further strikes.
Those against.
An Arab-sponsored UN resolution branding Israeli settlements illegal is vetoed by the United States. Now, a doctor in eastern Libya has told Al Jazeera he thinks more than 70 people have now been killed in the battles between security forces and the people opposing the rule of Muammar Gaddafi. The center of the unrest so far has been the east of the country. The region's biggest city is Benghazi, and reports from there say security forces have now been forced out of the city, and they've also left some surrounding centers like Al-Baida, Shahat, Darna and Tobruk. It's a very different picture in the capital, though. In Tripoli, leader Muammar Gaddafi retains a great deal of support, and the streets are reported to be quiet there for the moment. Al Jazeera's broadcasts into the country have now all been jammed on several frequencies. Our website has also been blocked in Libya. Bernard Smith reports.
A series of funerals for protesters killed by security forces in Benghazi. 14 people were shot dead on Thursday, according to a privately owned newspaper. The city is the focal point of demonstrations against Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. International media access to the country is limited. The outside world is heavily reliant on what Libyans manage to upload on the internet. The funerals were a consequence of these protests in Benghazi 24 hours earlier. Gunshots can be heard crackling through the air as the authorities try to suppress the crowds. Scenes of dissent on this scale are unprecedented in a country Gaddafi has ruled unchallenged for more than 40 years.
What's happening in Benghazi is a big massacre. People are being killed on the streets. People are demonstrating peacefully. They are asking for a decent life, not more than a decent life. There is in front of me, in front of the main court in Benghazi, more than 50,000 people.
While Libya is oil-rich, its eastern parts are more impoverished. WikiLeaks cables from US diplomats suggest that Gaddafi deliberately allows poverty and unemployment to rise here, weakening opponents. By contrast, in the capital Tripoli, Gaddafi appeared at a rally held by supporters. If you hold a country in an iron grip, adoring crowds can be quickly arranged. But analysts say the colonel does enjoy genuine respect in parts of Libya away from the east. And unlike Egypt, Gaddafi has petrodollars to pour over social problems. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera.
Now let's go live to Benghazi and speak to a resident there. His name is Mofta. And Mofta, I understand that you were out on the streets last night. Can you tell us what you saw?
Yesterday morning or last night?
Throughout the past 24 hours, shall we say. Give us your experiences in Benghazi.
Wednesday night there was a large demonstration, beautiful demonstration. They were faced by live ammunition and there were many victims falling down. Over 12 people, some say 24. Anyway, Friday morning people gathered in front of the courthouse in Benghazi. And they were having large demonstrations, getting larger by midday when the corpses of the victims came to be carried to the cemetery. The number was so large that the man of the United States is about 3 kilometers and 35 meters wide, were fully backed by demonstrators carrying the coffins. The demonstrators burned a couple of police stations on the way, and they have something they call the Revolutionary Committee building, which is people belongs to Muammar, close to Muammar's Gaddafi's.
All right, Mofta, we have a very, very bad telephone line here. We're struggling to hear you, so we'll leave it there. Thank you indeed for talking to us. Mofta talking to us live from Benghazi in Libya. Now, in Bahrain, security forces opened fire on the anti-government protesters gathered in the capital, Manama, on Friday for a second time. Hundreds of mourners were marching towards the Pearl roundabout when government forces